Hey everyone, it's Adele coming at you today with yet another video to help you actualize your true potential and live an authentic and fulfilling human life. Today, I want to talk about 3 ancient Greek concepts that will help you live your very best life in 2022, regardless of what happens. And that is what we really want to focus on going forward. Realistically, that's what we've kind of had to or should have been focusing on even up to this point. The way I am in this world, the way I feel, the way I show up is the result of my own decisions. I'm not sitting there saying, well, because the government did this, and my spouse did that, and my kids did that, and the dog down the street. We're using mindfulness to create who we want to become as a person and the kind of life we want to live. Which brings me to the first Greek concept, and that's called telos. This was the belief that every human had a purpose or an ultimate objective that they came into this life with. You could think of it as any object that's appearing in this reality. It has aims, it has intentions, and it has outcomes that it will likely fulfill, right? So if you think of a spider, if we're like, oh, what's a spider going to do? Well, we know that it's going to build a web. What does it want? Well, we know what it wants. It wants to eat and reproduce and survive and create webs that last and are well and work well. Now, we do have human nature, which is the same for most people. Most people want to be loved. Most people want to be happy and free. But we express ourselves and our energy in many, many different ways. And like many Greek concepts, telos is not one that is very simple and easily defined, in my opinion. I don't want this to get caught up in the modern day crush it, grind it, and get your goals mentality. Telos is also, I find that it kind of is involved with the Stoic philosophy, amor fati, to love your fate, to whatever you are, be a good one, right? And I think of, for example, someone like my mother, who I've talked about in so many videos about how abusive and neglectful and hateful she was to her children. But if I look at the course of her whole life and I say, what was the purpose of that spirit of my mother? And of course, this is just my opinion, right? I don't know what happened in her private life or what was going on in her mind. But if I look at the story that laid out in front of me from my perspective, I can actually say that I think my mother's prime objective goal in life was to create better human beings. Isn't that crazy to think about that? Because first of all, she did. She gave birth to me. She gave birth to my brothers, who are really amazing people. She created people who would go out in the world and overcome difficulties brought on by her and help other people. So whatever you are, be a good one. If you're a villain, be an excellent villain. And if you're in the wrong story as a villain, become the hero who once was a villain. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius describes that a blazing fire makes brightness and sparks out of anything that's thrown into it. And that's referring again to, if you have a purpose in life and you're getting any kind of input, whether it's some negative things occurring or criticism, whatever it is, if you have that blazing fire of your purpose in life, you're just going to keep using it to keep growing and building yourself more into your ultimate purpose. Epictetus was crippled. He had problem after problem after problem in life. And he came up with the Stoic philosophy that don't wish that good things happen in your life. Wish that whatever happens, happens the way that it happens. Wish that whatever life you are given, whatever things happen in your life, happen. And you all know me, I'm a proponent of creating the reality that we want. I believe in setting things in motion, taking the action towards it, and letting go of the outcome. Because oftentimes these things come to us in ways that we might not have expected. I know for me as a little girl, I would see the kings, the great kings that I would read about. And I always remember thinking that they were so wise, and I really aspired to that. I didn't realize that great wisdom is often born of great strife. So be careful what you wish for. I say that, of course, somewhat jokingly because I love my life looking back on it now. I love the life I'm in now and the person that I've become. But oh man, has it been a difficult journey, and it was entirely worth it. This reminds me of the magician Damien Eccles. He was imprisoned in the United States in Alabama when he was really young, and he was put on death row. I think he was like in his teens. He was in his early teens. He was often kept in solitary confinement, and he was kept there for 20 years for a crime he did not commit, which was a heinous murder. And he talks about how it was really horrible that he was put in jail. He suffered a great deal because it was during a formative time of his life and he was in solitary confinement. He wasn't able to see people's faces. Now, being able to see people's full face during a time of development in a person's life really is essential to helping them develop socially. To be able to pick up on social cues. You'll notice with children, when anything happens, they'll immediately look to an adult in their vicinity. Whether they find something really cool and exciting, they're going to look at you to see what your reaction is. Or, if they do something bad or they get hurt, they're going to look at the adult to see what their reaction is. So if you're in your formative years and you can't see people's faces for whatever reason, there can be dire consequences, and he's still dealing with those to this day. But he does talk about how being in jail was an amazing experience for him. It was like being able to live 20 years like a monk and just like read and study and practice magic all day long. So I'm going to kind of merge the final two Greek philosophies into one talking point. So now we're going to talk about arete, which is excellence. Now, initially, it referred to courage displayed in battle, but it later became something that could be seen as bravery, wisdom, living in virtue. So it could apply, for example, to Odysseus's wife, Penelope, who was, for many years I referred to her as my patron saint. I just really connected with her and her story. But recently, I've realized that part of a problem that I've had my whole life was that I have been waiting. I've been waiting for the masculine to come home to me. I have wanted, and I've continually put myself in situations where that will not happen, so that I'm eternally waiting, which is what Penelope was well known for. So now I'm reconsidering her as my patron saint. But I've always really connected with her wisdom, patience, and cunning. Now, the Greeks believed that through practicing arete, excellence, and courage. Stop a few times because it was so noisy, but I just chose the wrong time of day. Now, the Greeks believed that by practicing arete, so bravery and courage, we would, through that process, achieve eudaimonia, which is happiness in life. Now, I find that very interesting because, again, if you think of the modern concept of happiness, most people think of, honestly, I hate admitting it, but it comes to my mind as like having a house and a cars and a family and like your picket fence. And it's like the modern concept of that is an outcome. But the Greek concept of eudaimonia was a process. It was a flowing thing. And that's why they could incorporate bravery into the concept of achieving this happiness. Because you don't need bravery if you're not scared and you're not facing adversity. So they kind of built that into the concept of happiness, which I find to be very wise. Eudaimonia could also be thought of as a flow state, when you feel that things are in harmony between your mind and your body. Complete congruence with each other. You're deeply focused and totally absorbed in what you're doing. I experience that. This is funny when I write marketing emails. Oh, and when I work on websites, I was working on my website last night for 5 hours before I realized what had happened. And I also have been experiencing that from intense physical activity. As many of you know, I've started studying martial arts here in Mexico, and I am obsessed with it. When I'm just like doing the most difficult physical things, and the part of my brain that's usually going crazy completely shuts off, and I'm focused in the moment. I'm feeling the pain in my body, but also the strength at the same time. It is just this amazing feeling. And when you start practicing those kind of states more and more often, it really starts to expand your brain, which expands your ability to take in beauty, abundance, to create, to influence, to manifest. I can do a push-up now. I'm gonna have to take a video of me doing a push-up for you all. So yes, those are the 3 concepts that I hope you will think about going forward for the rest of the year and for the rest of your life. That you have a greater purpose. You need to act with bravery and courage, and you will achieve true happiness when you accept who you are, what you're doing, and your place in this world, and you be the very best one that you can. This video is brought to you by 2 things. One of them is my brand new online course. Yes, I am teaching a class live. It will be 4 weeks long. It starts on January 30th. It is taking you through the 4 rites of passage that we go through when we experience loss or transition, and all the different virtues that result from each of those stages. It's going to be interactive and live on Zoom, so you will be inspired, you'll connect with like-minded people, and you'll really start to get to learn and appreciate your journey and yourself. Space is extremely limited. If you're interested, click the link below. This also ties in with the fact that I am having a webinar this upcoming Sunday. So just in a few days, you need to sign up for that as well. If you're at the last webinar or you signed up for the last webinar, you're good. I'll send you an invite. But if you haven't done either of those things and you want to join us this Sunday, please go ahead and click that link below. We will be talking about the matrix, what it is. It is an energetic grid of reality that keeps most people trapped. How it was created. Guess what? You created it. And how to get out of it. That's a bit trickier, but you can do that too, just like I did. I'm so excited to share it with you, and I'll be sharing that information on this webinar. If you're at the last webinar, you're still probably going to want to attend this one because this one's good too. Okay? Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.